For the past few days, hold on, let me start this off right. It's almost 2 in the morning, so technically, good morning. My name is Seth, and this is my 8 cents. Back to what I was saying. For the past few days, the wrestling world has been on a buzz. The shot heard around the world. To some, an unexpected shock. A few, not surprising. What is the breaking news? What is that shot that was heard around the world? Well, I'll tell you. It has been reported that Cody Rhodes, along with his wife, Brandy Rhodes, have left AEW. Part 1. Part 2, it has also been reported that there is a strong possibility that Cody Rhodes may rejoin WWE. On my Twitter and Facebook account, I said I would not speak on anything related to this matter until I got some of the facts. I read some of the facts. They say money. Some say other things. I watched the videos of King Mike and OTRS Central, and they have their conclusions and theories as to what had happened. Me, I'm not going to go into that. But what I will say is I knew something was wrong when it was said on NoDQ.com that Cody Rhodes was wrestling and working without a contract. The moment I saw that, I figured, we got a problem. Tony Khan, do something and do something fast or else. And then literally 2 days ago, what happened? We get the news that Cody is no longer with AEW. Elite no more is Cody Rhodes. Now, whether you love the man or you hate the man, one thing you cannot deny is he's done very well for himself. He's done the Rhodes name proud. There are pros and cons to this. A pro for Cody possibly joining WWE again would be the fact that he can ask for the amount of money he sees fit, and Vince would push him. Vince is good at pushing people. The con. Yeah, whatever the amount of money, he may get that. However, he won't be cast in the way that he wants to be cast. We've seen this happen plenty of times. Look at the Christian situation when he returned from TNA back in 2009. Yeah, he won the ECW championship, and yeah, he won the World Heavyweight Championship twice, but that possibly may have only been because Edge had retired. Christian won the title and lost it shortly thereafter. So essentially, he had to turn heel to get it back. Was that a successful run? If you ask me, not so much. And I love Christian. I love Edge too. But let's be honest. Let's be honest here, okay? That wasn't it. Some people are shocked and they're baffled as to why Cody would leave his position as EVP of AEW, Executive Vice President, to just be another person on the WWE roster. Considering all the outlandish things that WWE has been churning out for quite some time, why would Cody do that? In time, after the diplomatic behavior wears off, Cody will give his reasons as to why he felt that this was the right move to make. We all have reasons for doing things that most people feel just doesn't have any logic in it. It's a shock. Am I personally shocked? Like I said, the moment I saw that he was working without a contract, I knew trouble was coming. Something inside me said, there's a chance that Cody might leave. So, what's the main factor in all this? What's going on in AEW? What are my thoughts on AEW, you ask? I'll tell you. I saw an episode of AEW ones. These days, I just catch the clips on YouTube whenever I can, because for obvious reasons, you know. AEW has some things that I like. The CM Punk MJF feud. Okay. Them fighting on, I believe it was Dynamite. Bad call. Bad call, Tony. Something WCW used to do. See, the problem with this may be Tony Khan himself. He just doesn't know what to do. Some people feel that Tony Khan did the right thing by not pushing to re-sign him, like not throwing money at him. That money could be used elsewhere. Okay, yeah, he may be a few $1 million richer with the departure of Cody Rhodes. That may be true. But unless he knows how to invest that money and the important things that he needs to make his company better, it's still a waste, right? And Tony Khan has caught a lot of heat for not knowing how to book, for spending too much time on Twitter, for lack of a better term, saying things at the worst times. See Big Swole, see the people at Fox. Well, I heard about it, didn't read what he said, but I heard about it. But the Big Swole thing caught a lot of people off guard and left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. When I found out that Cody left, I was worried for the future of AEW. Because like I said in my last tweet, what Tony Khan does from this point forward is pivotal to the success or the failure of all elite wrestling. When you have a company, you have to make sure your ducks are in a row, so if one person leaves, you have another or a few more to take the place of that recently departed superstar or wrestler to keep your company going to the next level. You know who was good at doing that? Vince McMahon. When Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man left, he invested in the new generation. Bret Hart, Razor Ramon, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Diesel, Razor Ramon, just to name a few, because yes, the WWE right now is trash in some points. But you have to understand the type of man that Vince McMahon is. He was raised and bred into this business. He knows how to navigate through stormy waters. He proved that with the Monday Night Wars. When everyone thought that he was done for, he just sat back, focused on himself, and ultimately he had the better product, and he was able to overthrow WWE and end up buying them. This is what happens when you compete with WWE and Vince McMahon. Whether it's WCW, whether it's the territories, whether it's Jim Crockett Promotions in the 80s, whether it's TNA or Impact Wrestling, or now All Elite Wrestling. The main thing that these companies have failed to understand is you cannot beat Vince at his own game. You can't beat him at sports entertainment. You attack what is weak and avoid what is strong. He owns the market on sports entertainment. He can do sports entertainment in his sleep. Like, he's a workaholic. This is just it's like running around the circle. Well, not around the circle, running around the fucking park for him. He knows what to do, even though he's out of touch. But if you really want a shot to beat him, learn from the past, for one. Secondly, you see them doing sports entertainment, you focus on wrestling. Do you know why Eric Bischoff was so successful with Nitro, kicking Raw's ass for 83 weeks? Because he studied the product. For example, Raw was taped. Nitro was always live. Raw at one point had cartoonish characters. Nitro had reality-based characters. So the fan who was burned out by all the shit that was going on Monday Night Raw with the cartoonish characters and whatever else, they all flipped over. Let's see what Nitro's doing. Let's see what Nitro has. Oh, that's what's up. We like that. We're not going to watch Raw anymore. You see my point? Now, AEW has been doing good. They've managed, kick the shit out of NXT so badly that NXT switched nights. But then Tony Khan decided, because he was too big for his britches, to take on SmackDown. I don't think there was a clear-cut winner. And pardon me if I'm wrong, he may or may not have tried to take on. Did he ever try to take on? I don't know. I will be honest and say I don't know about that. So I'm not going to touch on that. But I see a lot of similarities with WCW and AEW. Unfortunately, and this is coming from a WCW fan, unfortunately, they're not good similarities. Those who forget their past are damned to repeat it. Tony Khan, this is for you, buddy. You have a shot at possibly making WWE the number 2 wrestling company. Are you aware of that, Mr. Khan? I hope you are. You are this close. But you're also this close to fucking it up and losing everything and becoming the laughing stock. For all your supporters out there, you have a lot of detractors. Seems like you took your eye off the ball, Mr. Khan. Yeah, you signed a lot of people that WWE released. You know who else did that? WCW and TNA. They did that too. You see him take a lot of shots at the WWE. You know who else did that? WCW and TNA. And you know what eventually happened to them? They got lost in the shuffle because they let WWE or WWF live rent-free in their heads that they ultimately became WWE or WWF Light. It alienated the rest of their fan base. Do you want that to happen to you, Tony Khan? Do you? I hope not. Because I don't want to wake up in the morning and read on NoDQ.com breaking news. AEW closes its doors. Or breaking news, Vince McMahon buys AEW. Remember the Hall of Fame when Triple H said that he would buy Vince could buy that piss-ass company to Billy Gunn? That might be reality if you don't watch your ass, Tony. You have a lot of strikes against you. You spend too much time on Twitter instead of being a boss. There's more to running a company than just signing every single body from the WWE. Vince knows who to fire. I hate to say it. And some of the people he released were favorites of mine. Bray Wyatt, Karrion Kross, Keith Lee, the list goes on and on, just to name a few. But did you ever think he was firing these people just to see how many of them you'd pick up to destroy your company from the inside? Did you ever think of that, Tony? Look, I have nothing against you personally. Clearly, I've never met you. I applaud you for this endeavor. I like you. I like what you do. This isn't me condemning AEW, so settle down, AEW fans. I'm not a WWE fanboy. I promise you. I'm a fan of wrestling, of all kinds, of all promotions, including WWE, because, they got some good stuff too. SmackDown was good. I apologize for taking a lot of, heat on SmackDown. I apologize. But what I'm saying is, Tony Khan, you have an opportunity. King Mike asked the question. It wasn't really a question, but he was saying it would be weird and sad that all those people from AEW have to go over to WWE. Not just, he wasn't even talking about Kenny Omega or anything. He was talking about the people who left and came over to AEW and was talking hella shit about WWE. He said it. Go look at his videos. He preaches. He's great. I follow on Twitter and YouTube. Keep up the good work, Mike. He said all those release stars, like a Rusev, Adam Cole, a Shawn Spears, they will have to go back and beg Vince McMahon for a job. Like, hey, I know I was talking shit about you on the other side, but I really need to work. Can you help me? There are two outcomes in that situation. He's going to let them come back and put them in bullshit storylines with bullshit gimmicks, or he's going to say no. One of the two. Or he may just not even give them the time of day. Vince is a businessman, though. And we had a conversation, me and Mike. We talked about Rusev on Twitter. And I thought, I was going to ask him, I'm like, if he would do that to Rusev, imagine what he would do to CM Punk. Think about it. Every single person that left, whether it was voluntarily or involuntarily, who left and went over to AEW has something negative to say about WWE. Now imagine AEW closes its doors and they have to go right the fuck back and literally beg on hands and knees and literally kiss this man's ass and say, please hire me back. I have mouths to feed. I have bills to pay. And whether or not they can keep their lifestyle afloat is in Vince's hands. Remember that segment on the last episode of Nitro where he said, the very fate of WCW is in my hands? You might be seeing that again. Now, another thing that they said about the Cody Rhodes situation is this a work? If this is a work, indeed, then Tony Khan is a fucking genius because he has everybody talking about every wrestling platform on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter. This is what they're talking about. Even I'm talking about it. And, me and my wife had a conversation about it. What if? Anything's possible in the world of wrestling. Anything, right? So, if it's a work and Cody were to come back somewhere down the road and say, I just mind fucked you, and does the ultimate heel turn, that could work. But a swerve like that, use sparingly. Because when you start mind fucking your fans and insulting their intelligence, you lose credibility. This is something that, if it's a work, is ballsy, but very risky. Tony Khan, I don't watch football, but I heard you didn't do so well with the Falcons. At least two people have said it. Do you want to go down as a shitty businessman? Or do you want to go down as a man who did what others before you weren't able to do? Think about that. It's more than just signing people that get fired, Tony. It's a lot more than that. Stop with the forbidden door promises. Oh, we're something big. It's not. Pardon me. It's not big. You said anyone. You said you're willing to work with anyone, even like people that don't like other people or places that, however your tweet said it. So by that tweet, you had people think that someone from WWE was going to come over. You know Vince isn't going to allow that. And if he does allow that, I'd be shocked. After all the shit you said about him, it's no longer a friendly competition. It's just you want to take shots at Vince McMahon and WWE, which is fine. But don't take shots on Twitter. Oh, we're going to kick WWE's ass. And mind you, this is not what he said, but that's pretty much just what he's saying. You really want to kick Vince's ass? You really want to put WWE to shame? Let your work speak for you. Put on better matches. Have better storylines. Give the fans an alternative that will make them want to watch your products. take wrestling seriously. To a lot of people, past and present, there are people out here who believe in tradition, who grew up in the era of the Rock and Roll Expresses versus the Midnight Express, who saw Flair and Dusty have classic bouts, who remember the Road Warriors. This was a time when wrestling was taken seriously, where when they got into the ring, they gave everything they had for the fans. It wasn't just another day at the office to collect a fucking paycheck. This was their lives. You have to go back to that. That's the only way you're going to save this company. I'm not saying Cody is an end-all, be-all, EVP or not. Nobody, not one man is bigger than a company. But you can turn this tide. Because with the tweets and the questionable storylines and the signings that don't mean anything and a talk about a forbidden door, I hear about the forbidden door so goddamn much that I don't want to hear about it no more. I don't even want to see it. It's the forbidden door example. Someone from Impact or someone from New Japan, that's not a forbidden door. Those are people you've worked with. If it was a forbidden door, it would be someone from the WWE coming through the doors of AEW or vice versa. Whether it's for a one-off appearance or for a month to build a pay-per-view, like, say, I don't know, Hook versus Kevin Owens. I've been throwing names out there. And I like Hook. He's Taz's kid. And I love Taz too. But damn it, this talk of a forbidden door has to stop. Or else there's not going to be a door that's forbidden in your case, Tony Khan. This whole Cody situation was your bad. Why? Because you allowed him to work without a contract. Did you not know that was going to backfire? Look, I'm not going to speak on what possible reasons why he left. As most of the sites and most of the videos on YouTube, that's what they're talking about. I'm taking a different route here. I'm taking a different place here. I'm going to the roots. Why did this happen? Tony Khan. Ultimately, it's your company, right? The whys and the hows, they will present itself at the right time. But Tony, there's two things you can do. You can let AEW flounder in light of this, or you can regroup. And if you let him go to WWE for a different reason, then kudos on you. Because this was unexpected. You got everybody talking. Everybody is talking. Myself, King Mike, OCR Sister, everyone is talking about NoDQ.com. There's a lot of platforms that are talking about it right now. Right now. Okay? And to you, Cody, are you sure this is a good idea going back? You know that WWE has not done the Rhodes name anything good. You see what they did to your dad. Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. In the NWA, he was a big deal. He was the world's heavyweight champion at one point. He was the man. The son of a plumber. He was having classic matches with Ric Flair. In the WWF, he was just a mid-carder. And what about your brother? The natural Dustin Rhodes. He becomes Goldust. Remember that? Every time he left and came back, that star faded just a little bit more. They let him get to a certain point, and then, no, we're going to put you back down here. No, we're back here. And then they gave him a comedic, politically incorrect gimmick of him having Tourette's every time he talks, to where people with Tourette's actually thought it was real. And look what they did to you. They made you Stardust. And yes, you said that you were putting on subpar matches. Look, I watched them. I think they were just fine. You may have a different opinion, but I think they were just fine. But look what they did to the Rhodes name. You got more respect from the Rhodes name in the South, in the NWA, in WCW, and now AEW than you ever would in WWE. Are you sure this is a good idea, Cody? You are the hottest free agent. You can go anywhere you want. If you want to go to ROH when they open their doors back up, you're more than welcome to. If you want to stop the Impact for a cup of coffee, you're more than welcome to. If you want to say, you know what, Tony, I changed my mind, I want to come back, you are more than welcome to. You can go anywhere you want. The world is your oyster. And if you really want to go to WWE like everyone's suggesting that you are, they're saying it's possible. Sounds like it's at 85% likely that you would go back home to the WWE. You could too, but ask, is all that money worth it? I know you saw what they did to the Good Brothers. Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson. It was a big fucking deal when they got signed. You remember that? Of course you do. And did you see what happened to them? They won a tag team title. They lost a tag team title. Look at the Revival. I like the Revival. Now known as FTR. They won the tag team titles. Then they lost the tag team titles. Do you want that to happen to you? I get it. If it's money matters, I understand it. If it's money matters, you want to make the most money, you have a baby, you have a wife, I get it. You have plans out, you don't want to wrestle forever, hey, I get it. All right? If it's for image or whatever, to whether you want to be a politician or an actor, WWE can help you with that. I get it. But if it's not for those things and you want to wrestle because you love it, every child who is a child of a wrestler wants one thing. They want to see their dad win the big one. So they can go and clap and applaud and go to school and say, that's my dad. Or be live when it happens. So that way, that wrestler can take their child and take their championship and hoist that child up in the air. How many times have we seen that? A few times. Don't you want to do that, Cody? Of course you do. You think that that's going to happen to you in the WWE? No. If you win a major title, you probably might only win the Universal title. Because you sure as fuck ain't winning the WWE Championship. That's for sure. You might. I'm just going to be real. I don't see it happening. I don't mean to sound pessimistic or nothing, but I'm just being real. I don't see it happening. And it's not a knock on you. It's a fact that you were too good for WWE. You outgrew those shoes a long time ago. You've been there. You've done that. You saw the concert, bought the t-shirt. Why do you want to go back? Really? Why the fuck do you want to go back? Like, do you really think that this is going to keep his word to you? I don't know what happened with you at AEW. But from the looks of it, outside of the fans booing you had a pretty sweet thing. And you had some stroke too. Even though I did hear that you weren't really doing much in creative. But if you really, if the risk of going to WWE, if the reward is worth that risk to go there, then hey man, I give you kudos. I give you kudos. You get no condemnations from me, but I want you to understand what might happen. Look at the people before you who were promised big things and Vince didn't deliver for whatever reason. Look at Finn Balor. Finn Balor is fucking talented. Vince gave up on him. There's a lot of talented people that were good, that could work, that Vince didn't see anything in. Look at Raven. Look at RVD. And although RVD's push to railing was on account of RVD's own fault by admission, that's not the point. This is something you want to think about. Because it's just not you that's involved in this equation, Cody. It's the legacy of the Rhodes name. Your brother. Your father. I know, you want to be the first Rhodes to win the WWE Championship. And I hope that you do. And on the day that you win that championship, I will applaud you. I will clap for you the loudest. Because God damn it, Cody Rhodes, you deserve it. All I'm saying is make sure that this is worth it. When you left WWE, you were everywhere. You were in Global Force Wrestling. You were traveling around, collecting belts, winning, kicking ass, putting respect on your own name. And I would read about it and watch you be like, God damn, I love that guy. But now, I don't know. People have asked me, Seth, how do you feel about this? Do you think it's real? Do you think it's fake? Do you think if he goes back, it's a good idea? Look, it's up in the air. I'm just giving my opinion. Lastly, what does this mean? What does this mean for AEW? We saw in history when X-Pac, formerly known as Six, and the 1-2-3 Kid, came back from Nitro to Raw, how much of a big deal that was. You notice I didn't mention Jeff Jarrett because no one really cared. No offense to Double J, but no one cared that he came back. But when X-Pac came back, that shocked a lot of people. And he started to air some dirty laundry out about WCW and Hogan and Eric Bischoff. That's when the tide started to turn. It didn't officially turn until the Austin and McMahon match on Raw helped Raw beat Nitro for the first time in 2 years. But a slow fire burns the brightest. And Tony Khan, there's smoke coming from your house. You can hurry up and put that out or watch your house burn down. The choice is yours, Mr. Khan. I don't know what you're going to say outside of what you said, outside of what Cody and Brandy have said. I don't know. But if I were a businessman, I'd be thinking fast. Some folks say you saved some money, and you probably have. Okay, if that's the case, that you've saved some money, however much you were paying them, it's time to invest that. Invest that into superstars. Make your stars want to be there. Hell, let Brian Cage come out. He's complaining about not being used. He wants to go because he might be the next one. And you don't want that, Tony. Because the more people start leaving, they're going to go to WWE. They're going to go to your competition. And they're going to talk shit about you. They're going to tell people, hey, people thought AEW was cool. It was a paradise. It's worse over here than it is anywhere else. Do you want that, Tony? Because that's what happened to Nitro. Or not, excuse me. That's what happened to WCW. That's also what happened to TNA. Do you want that? Then fix it, Tony. For the sake of your company, for the sake of your wrestlers, and ultimately, for your sake, fix it before it's too late.